In this Yamuna routine, we're going to use a black ball to help release all those connections around the hip joint. So start on the sit bone. And just let that bone get stimulated by the pressure of the ball, of your breath, your attention. Check and make sure you're not bringing tension into the spine or into the shoulders, so keep the spine long. If you keep that knee slightly bent, you'll be able to feel more connection into the sit bone. And then we're going to release that whole bone. So you're going to rotate around the front, the back, the left, the right of the bone. Take your time. As you notice, see if there's any space where you need to stay a little bit longer. Let it sink and then change direction. Releasing all those connections around the sit bone. And you'll come right back to the center on the bone. Take a breath in. And you're going to let that ball roll back. It's going to come right there in between, a little space between the sit bone and the glute. You should feel a little hole where that ball basically sinks in. Let it sink. It's a really important space for people who have sciatic. And then if you're unsure if you're in that space, you can kind of just move that leg up and down. Just check and make sure that you're in the joint. If you can feel that bone pressing against the ball, then you know you're in that space. If you don't feel anything, you're not in the joint. So play with it until you know you're there. And then just very slowly with your breath, you're going to follow the curve of that hip. It's basically the curve of your underwear line, your Speedo line. It's a curve, okay? Make sure that you're not following a straight line. And once you know that you're in that space, take a breath in, lift the leg. As you exhale, let that leg drop down, allowing that ball to sink in a little bit further. And then once you feel that release a little bit more, you're going to continue to move around that hip joint, reach out through the heel, pull through the elbow. Again, feel that separation of heel from sit bone, from armpit, from elbow. Let that ball sink. Very slowly, continue to rotate around. As you rotate around, that ball is going to come between the ASIS bone and the head of the femur bone. You're basically creating space between those two bones, which is the hip joint. Take a few more breaths until you come right up to the pubic bone. And once you're there on that pubic bone, again, let that ball sink. And once you finish that, lay on back, take a breath, observe, notice the difference, and then do the other side.